The road to Weiwei, Tamkal and Nyarkulian areas of Pokot South has never been smooth. This is where landslides killed over 50 people in November last year. The hilly terrain, characterized by treacherous steep slopes, is also famed for its beautiful landscapes, with farms neatly fenced using hundreds of poles from the endangered cedar tree. Once you enter Nyarkulian village, especially on this Ululei hill where landslides killed over 20 people, the reality of the aftermath is clear for all to see. It is here that homes were suddenly swept downhill while families slept. Others who tried to escape were also engulfed in mud as huge soil blocks lost grip and slid across the only road out of the village. Almost every family here was affected. Those who survived had to move out, but sadly, they went nowhere since all the temporary camps that had been pitched in Nyarkulian Primary School were closed down and residents forced to leave and seek solace in neighbors' homes. About 1 kilometer from Ululei village is Turpach. The residents here were less affected, and so many of those who were left homeless in Ululei village moved here and formed temporary camps inside their neighbors' compounds. Outside one of the churches in Turpach village, we found a group of displaced persons basking in the sun. Our arrival raising hopes of relief food. We notice a young girl being carried across the hills to the meeting. She looks pale, weak and in pain. She survived the November landslide in Nyarkulian village, but her mother and her younger sister died in the mud.
Tulikuwa nyumbani. Tukaona hivi nyumba yetu hapo tu hivi amepomoa. Mama yangu akasema hivi twende kwa majirani. Tukaenda tukafika kwetu hapo mbali. Hiyo kitu ikakuja ikabeba sisi.
Naomi, 14 years old and in class 5, was left with a broken arm, fingers and thigh bone. She also developed breathing problems after choking in the mud.
Nilikuwa nikienda na mamangu, babangu na watoto wetu wote. Wengine wakakimbia wakisikia hiyo kitu. Akabeba sisi mimi na mama yangu na baba yangu na mtoto wetu mdogo. Majirani akuja kutubeba. Daktari akasema hivi muende huko Eldoret. Akabeba mimi Eldoret na baba yangu. Tukaenda akanibeba Tiaga. Nikaenda Tiaga.
She is now partially disabled. Walking down these steep slopes for her is simply impossible.
Achi alibeba. Nikafika huko. Nikamesa matope. Siwezi nikaenda shule kwa sababu siwezi nikatembea. Siwezi nikaandika.
She is now living in this church with tens of other displaced persons who do not have homes or land to go back to. These houses, standing on the walls of the hills, are in danger of being swept downhill if it rains again.
Nyumba hapa ni mbaya. Hapa tu hata ukienda hapa hivi ni mbaya sana. Hakuna mwenye analala hapa. Inaweza hii inaenda hii nyumba imeenda tayari. Hii itaenda hivi. Itakata hivi.
But this is where they call home. They can only hope that the landslides never hit again. The last time they received relief food, they say, was just before Christmas last year.
Wakati karibu imefika sikukuu sasa, si watu wakaenda majirani kwa shule, walikuwa kambi kwa Nyarkulian. Wakaenda kukula sikukuu kwa majirani hapo. Sasa shule ikakuwa karibu imefunguliwa. Sasa wakamwambia watu sasa shule imefunguliwa. Mjitafutie kambi yenu kando.
But that was it. After every displaced person was forced out of the camps, they now rely on their equally poor neighbors for food and shelter. Over 30 families live in this church compound in Turpach, balancing between hills and survival for another day. Dennis Matara, K24 from Nyarkulian village in West Pokot County.